All right. Hey, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
Yacht Club in Rockwall, that's supposed to be funny.
Will you let me go, please?
Hey, Tony. We're trying to help you out, man. Just relax. I'm gonna try to change the cuffs.
Okay.
That way we don't have to worry about it once he's up.
Yeah.
The Green Oaks cocktail special.
Yeah.
It is.
That's what she said. They had him down like this because they had him just sitting down. He's like,
He took some.
the ambulance. Yeah, he was scrumming a little too much.
You all right, bud? You gonna be all right.
Is he acknowledging anymore?
He's moving.
Oh, I thought he nodded yes to your question.
Tony.
Tony.
Tony. He's breathing. Tony.
I was making sure you were still breathing.
Yeah.
If his nose is buried in there.
I think he's just. Yeah, he's still breathing. He just snorted. Tony.
It's alcohol. What the fuck?
Is he asleep?
He's asleep.
He's snoring. That's what it was.
Yeah, he's asleep.
First day, you can't be late.
Tony.
We bought you new shoes for the first day of school. Come on.
Made breakfast, scrambled eggs, your favorite.
With waffles.
Waffles.
Fruity, tutti, fruity waffles. I think he's out cold now.
Yeah,
This might wake him up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He just got quiet.
All of a sudden, he just bloop.
He didn't just die down there, did he?
I don't think he did.
Is he breathing? Hope I didn't kill him.
I'm fucking believe.
Yeah, he's not breathing.
He's not breathing?
Nope.
Oh shit.
Fire. Oh.
Nah, he ain't breathing, bro.
We all put on some gloves when he's chest compressions.
Fuck. He ain't breathing.
So he was fighting and then just gave up.
Hey,
Like this.
I've got his mom on the phone, and she knows all this stuff.
He's dead.
He's what?
He's dead.
Well,
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so we are not going to delay getting into this video. As you can see, we're going to talk about a very interesting case that is not new. It is actually quite a few years old, but now is the time to bring it up. It's not the first time it's been brought up, but there was some action on my Facebook page today that I really felt was God's way of telling me, like, you need to tell your subscribers about this if they don't already know, so that they also can educate people about this case. So before we go into today's video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel at letstalkdarling.com. Make sure you scroll on up to the top and subscribe to all my social media platforms. Then scroll on down to the bottom and make sure that you enter in your email so that I can stay in contact with you on my website. And also, if you wish to donate to the channel, you can do so there as well. Okay, let's get started. I am kind of excited about this because I don't know if a whole lot of people know about this case, but I am going to teach you today. You gonna learn today. Okay, so let's first talk about how this video started as far as the idea for me to do it. So I had posted on my Facebook page, and I'm scrolling right now on my Facebook page. I finally caught up with watching all the testimony on the Derek Chauvin trial. If this jury does in fact remain impartial and follows all the evidence, the testimony that George Floyd's girlfriend gave us, it is enough to provide reasonable doubt that Chauvin's actions was not the leading cause of George Floyd's death. I don't agree with the way this officer conducted himself, but it's not about feelings. This is about facts. And the facts are that his girlfriend provided information that indicated he was possibly in the middle of a drug deal, that maybe he swallowed something, but that he was addicted to opioids for quite some time. Now, I'm not going to read the whole entire post. That's the gist of it. Needless to say, the comments started rolling in on my post. And of course, people always take what I say out of context. And one very nice gentleman, I will put his post up here as I'm reading it. I'm going to get his permission to do so first, but he's very, very nice gentleman. He came at me very, very respectfully, but he was clearly like very one-sided as far as how he was seeing this whole issue, as far as what it really was about. So his first comment to me was, if Floyd was white, would we even be having this discussion? Search your own hearts, because we already know the answer. And I said, no, we wouldn't be hearing about this. Look up Tony Timpa on YouTube and watch the same thing that happened to him while the officers laughed while they were holding him down by his neck. So we went back and forth, and he basically says, why do I have to look it up on YouTube? When it comes to police abusing white people, all I have to do is turn on the TV and see a white man kneeling on a black man's neck for 10 minutes, Kaepernick style, as he begs for his mama. And I said to him, and this is where the idea to do this video stemmed from, I said, that is a great question, and it proves your point. Why does the news only want to show you these things and not the whole truth? Meaning just the police officers on black men or black women, assaults or shootings or killings. That's the question you should be asking. If they showed when injustices happened all the time to all people and not just certain groups, it wouldn't seem so targeted. So here we are today to talk about Mr. Tony Timpa. Now, if you haven't heard about Tony Timpa, I don't blame you. I don't think a lot of people have heard about Tony Timpa. This case happened back in August of 2016 here in Dallas, Texas. I personally did not know about Tony Timpa until the George Floyd incident happened, and I heard some people referencing on one of Brandon's lives, I think one day, about Tony Timpa. So I went and looked it up, and I went and watched the entire video, and I was appalled. Now, I did put a little clip of the Tony Timpa incident at the beginning of this video, but unfortunately, because of the nature of it, I cannot put the entire video on here. But what I will do is I'll put a link to it in the description box below so you guys can watch it for yourself in its entirety, and I highly suggest you do. Now, Tony Timpa was a 32-year-old white male from Dallas, Texas. He had schizophrenia and depression. He suffered from schizophrenia and depression. And on the night of August 2016, he himself actually called the police to say that he had not taken his medication, his schizophrenia and depression medication, but that he had taken cocaine, and he was afraid. He was afraid for what he was going to do. He was afraid for his life. He was panicking, okay? Now, I believe he was actually calling from an adult, like an adult store in Dallas, Texas, and there was a security guard there, and, that security guard decided to put him in handcuffs while they awaited the police. So, Mr. Timpa he called 911 himself, told the dispatcher, I'm not doing so hot. Here's where I'm at. Can somebody please come out here and help me? So they dispatched the police. Now, when the police came, like I said, he was already in handcuffs, and they proceeded to zip tie his wrists and I think his wrists and his ankles. I don't know. I think his ankles came a little bit later, but they zip tied them basically together to minimize his movement. Now, if you watch the video, there's not a whole lot of struggle going on. I mean, this guy is clearly, you know, not all there. He's, you know, not thinking straight, but, you know, he's not being, you know, extremely violent, if that makes sense. But, you know, he clearly is just not in his right mind. So the police have him handcuffed and restrained. And after a few minutes, he actually starts to pass out. And the police assume that he's falling asleep, okay? They assume that because of whatever he's on, that he's just passing out. Maybe he's, you know, drunk and he's just, you know, slowly going to sleep. So they're just holding him there, waiting for the ambulance to arrive. And you can hear them on this video joking, like saying, time to get up and go to school, you know, breakfast is almost ready, like just making all sorts of jokes, you know, poking at him and saying, hey, dude, you awake? You know, you all right? Blah, blah, blah. But nobody took his pulse. Nobody checked his heart rate. They just assumed he was asleep. And the laughing and the joking like went on for quite a long time. You can see the entire, you know, the entire thing on the video in the link below. But it went on for quite a long time. Then the ambulance arrives and they ask a few questions. They load him into the ambulance vehicle, emergency vehicle, and they basically tell him, this dude's dead. Now, the important part I forgot to mention, and this is why this is such a perfect comparison to the George Floyd situation, is these police officers, in addition to laughing and joking and not taking the situation seriously, they also had their knee placed very close to his neck, but it was more on like the back part of his neck. So it wasn't directly like in the same place that George Floyd had it, but it was very close to his neck, between his neck and his back. So they actually had the knee there for 14 minutes, all the while he was zip tied and passed out. So he was not, you know, struggling or anything like that. And he, you know, aside from being under the influence of something, he had not committed any crimes. I just want to make that very, very clear. He had not committed any crimes. He asked the police to come there. Now, after his death, it took the Dallas Police Department 3 years to release the footage. And here's the part that is going to really, really shock some of you guys. Well, maybe it won't shock you. Maybe it won't shock you. But the officers, I think there were 3 officers, but the officers that were involved in the Tony Timpa incident were eventually brought to trial. They found that some of the statements that they gave initially when they took their statements did not match up with what the evidence showed. Regardless of all that, the charges were dropped on all of those officers and they did return to active duty, okay? Now, again, I bring this up because this was the situation that I was trying to reference when I was speaking to this very nice gentleman on my Facebook post, kind of going back and forth. And what's interesting is when I responded to him with what I read to you earlier, I haven't heard from him since. Now, I hope that maybe, you know, made him think about it a little bit. But I was really, really grateful to have this exchange with somebody because number one, I feel like he's in the right frame of mind to kind of maybe receive a different way of thinking about things. A lot of people are not. Like, they're just going to see this as racially motivated. That's all they're going to see is the black and white aspect of it. I will be honest with you. I don't know who watches my channel that has also been watching the George Floyd trial. I'm sorry, the Derek Chauvin trial. I keep calling it the George Floyd trial. The Derek Chauvin trial. But I have watched every single minute of this trial. And I will tell you, yes, there is evidence that maybe Derek Chauvin had a power trip, that he really didn't follow procedure to the letter. But there is no evidence of this being a racially motivated attack on George Floyd. Okay, there is no evidence. The media has painted that picture for you. And I think if you take the time to watch the trial, you will really start to see that. This is an all-around sad situation. George Floyd has had a very, very, terrible, I think a terrible life. Yeah, he's got a beautiful daughter, but this guy has had a very, very bad addiction to opioids and other drugs, losing his mother, and his girlfriend testifies to all that. And, it's just sad. It's sad that, this has to happen to people. But what I want to say is this: Tony Timpa is not the only one, okay? There was a case, and I'm not going to go through this one in detail. You can look it up, Daniel Shaver, okay? I believe this also happened in Texas. I think it was in Granbury, Texas. I don't know what the full details were of that incident, but needless to say, the police were called because there were reports of a shotgun or something to that effect. Daniel Shaver was, found in the hallway of his apartment or a hotel, and they had him down on the ground. He was, I don't know if he was under the influence of anything or whatever. They were giving him instructions. He was on his knees, following their instructions, begging for his life when they shot him dead, okay? He was also a white man. We also have another situation, not a white man, but a very, very sad situation involving police. And again, this is in Dallas, was Botham Jean. He was sitting in his apartment when a police officer, Amber Geiger, mistakenly thought she was walking into her apartment, or that's what she says, and shot him in cold blood in his own apartment. That was terrible. I think what we need to realize is this: if we continue to focus on this race, black and white narrative, and that's all we focus on, we're going to miss solving some real issues that need to get fixed, which are, policy issues in these police departments. Maybe these officers are working long hours. They're not, maybe they need to be mentally checked a little bit more often. Maybe they need to, decompress after being involved in maybe some more emotionally triggering situations and attend more counseling, because I think some of these police officers are not right in the head. Needless to say, it's a very, very stressful job. I'm not making excuses for anybody, because here's the thing: you break the law, you don't abide the police, and stuff can happen. Whether we agree with the outcome of that or not, just if you don't put yourself in the situation to have an interaction with the police, then you're not putting yourself in a situation to get killed by the police, okay? I do also want to say that the amount of times that there are police negligence situations are very, very far few in between. Just put into context that we are only hearing about the ones that the media wants us to hear about because it fits the narrative that they want to build in our minds, okay? The other thing is, the numbers show, you can look them up for yourself, that more white people are killed by police every year than black people, okay? That is just the facts. And I think that people really need to take some time to do their research, to really try to look at things objectively, to really try and research other situations before you draw an entire conclusion off of one incident. And I'm not saying that this is just one incident. This is one of many incidences involving many different colors of people that is just not right. But if we don't just only focus on race and black and white, we're never going to fix real problems that exist in law enforcement, okay? So I want to know what you guys think. Please, before you respond in the comments, take some time, go watch the Tony Timpa video. I warn you, it is very, very hard to watch, but I think it's important to see it and to really, compare Tony Timpa's situation to George Floyd's situation, black, white, or whatever. But definitely come back here. Let me know what you think in the comments box below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another video. Thank you guys so much and have a good one. Bye-bye.